family practice?
So you can use like their balance right now to actually be a pretty good language around there. So 'cause they're all worried about burnout and sustainability, right? So
Yeah.
so they just like resilient, like a balance for resilience practice, something like that.
A balance in your practice?
Yeah.
Balance in your practice,
All right, so we're ready to go here.
okay. Okay. Does he have to turn and say his name to the camera?
Yeah, if you just say your name to the camera.
So I'm Javed Alou. I'm a family physician in Toronto.
And then you can say that to me as an introduction to the video.
That's
You
right.
needed
Oh, that was for
his
you.
That's for me,
tape,
so
yeah.
I'm
that's right. I
watching.
forgot. Yeah.
That's that.
So I'm Javed Alou. I'm a family physician in Toronto.
Can you try that again? I was coughing when you started. So.
Now you're relaxed.
No problems. I'm Javed Alou. I'm a family physician in Toronto.
You can talk about your first point.
Great. So I think in practice you always need a balance. There are things that actually are energizing, exciting, and make you excited about. Let's do that again.
Okay.
What's the words? Energizing, fulfilling. So in clinical practice, there are different parts. There are parts that are exciting, energizing, fulfilling, and there are parts that actually are more draining, that actually take more energy and make you feel like you have a weight on your back. And finding that balance actually is a lot to do with how you approach your patients and how you support them in actually getting healthier. Are you taking on the challenge all on yourself, or are you actually sharing it with them and actually having a better partnership with your patients in their goals of getting healthier?
Scheduling in advance?
So, I think what I was going to say.
So if you had a specific order you wanted to go in.
Right.
Like what are some tips
Right.
for scheduling?
So in actually getting that right, so actually getting that balance right with your patients, parts of it are about caretaking, actually supporting them when they can't actually take care of themselves or are having difficulty making the right decisions. And parts of it are about empowering them to make the best decisions for getting the health and the...
Care?
All right, you
You're
looked right at the camera, like in the episode of The Office. Like,
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, that's perfect.
You
Right.
broke the fourth wall?
The fourth wall, yeah.
Whichever wall.
So you know, start and stop.
And nailing the words, perfectly. Like,
Right.
just think of what you're trying to get across, and just do it,
Right.
conversationally,
Mhm.
as if you're trying to tell people like us who don't really know much about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's about getting that balance right, both to support your patients when they're actually not able to make the right decisions for their own health, and also to empower them when they're actually able to take better control and make decisions about the kind of health care that they want to receive. You can help them by actually giving them a chance to book their own appointments, and urgent care slots are a great way of doing this. And actually, you can also give them the chance to support their chronic care by booking their appointments in advance and letting them choose where they want to do their blood work and giving that information and resources to them before they leave for their appointment 3 months in advance.
How about social media?
Social media is a great way to actually care for your patients and the population in your neighborhood. This is becoming more and more important every day. And on this, you can share resources like dietary tips. And this is great for teenagers who are on vegetarian or vegan diets or have issues around knowing where to get the best calcium supplements and resources, dietary supplements in their meals.
It's okay, you can say that again if you want.
What was I going to say? So
You were talking about social media and,
Right.
Tips for social media.
So social media is a great way to actually support your patients, both the ones in your own practice and other people in your neighborhoods. This is really important as population health becomes more important every day. You can give information for general resources like where to get the best dietary sources for calcium and iron. And this is great for patients who are vegetarian and vegan. Not just your teenagers, but more and more your patients who are getting older are accessing information both on Facebook and Twitter.
What should you not do on social media?
So you don't want to discuss on social media information that's personal or specific. So it's more general medical information that you want to give, not advice specific to a patient's case. It's very rare that a patient will actually come to you asking personal questions on social media. And if that happens, just have them contact your office or proactively have your office contact them and instruct them about the best way to access general information versus specific decisions for their own care.
Are there some examples of posts that you could put up on social media? Oh, you gave the example of teenagers and vegan, vegetarian. Was that what you wanted to include with seniors communities, or is that separate
I
advice?
forgot that, yeah. Seniors, and there was also one more thing.
Start.
media, it's about advising people about their general community and
Right.
once they've left the office, things that they can do.
Right, perfect. Thank you for reminding me.
No, it's good. So we chatted before. What do you want to talk about?
Great.
You good?
We're good, you ready?
Okay.
So the kind of information you can give your patients isn't just about diet and exercise, but also letting seniors know what resources are available for them in their community. About exercise opportunities, about social opportunities, and this helps people who are housebound or actually that doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No,
That's okay.
we'll go then. So whereas again, so so resources you can share with your patients on social media extend beyond just dietary simple advice, but also about resources for exercise, for social events, and this can help your patients who are depressed have an option and know about what's available for them. It's about continuing a relationship with them in a general way, even once they're out of your office.
Perfect. And how about apps?
Okay. So
And we can review
Right.
it if you've missed anything.
Sure.
This is what I have.
Great. So actually for apps, it's a complicated challenge sometimes. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you gotta decide what is it you're looking for to achieve as a specific goal for using that app. If you're simply looking to share information, that can be useful, but it's also a bit weak sometimes as to how much of an impact it makes. If you're actually choosing apps that are actually about behavior change, this is where you see the biggest impact and value for your patients. And there are a number of free resources in many areas. So there are great breathing apps, breathing space, and tools like this for people to teach them mindfulness or meditative skills. CBTI is a great app for insomnia management, and it's actually free on both the Android and Apple platforms. And there's also the Band app for helping diabetics track their sugars in a really easy one-click methodology that allows patients to see and learn to manage their chronic conditions and also share that information with their health providers when they see them.
I don't have anything else on my notes. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I'm good.
Okay. Is it okay if we, do you mind if I fire? Do
Yeah.
you want to do any of those
No.
over? Okay.
Right, so before you fire off
Yep.
other stuff, let's just
Coming up with this off the top of your head. I know you can't see me.
It's not the normal way of speaking.
No.
Yeah.
It's repeating back to somebody.
I'm
Okay.
cold. We're ready
Great.
when you are.
So what drew me to leadership was?
So what drew me to leadership was curiosity more than anything else. Understanding that there are complex reasons why things happen and why people make their decisions that makes a lot of sense in different contexts, but doesn't always give you the outcomes you're looking for. So understanding that was actually a large part of what drew me to leadership, to see how it could actually help add my little bit to make it better in the end.
Why is it important for family physicians to have leadership training, in your opinion?
I think it's critical for family physicians to have leadership training, partly because what they're doing every single day is helping patients find the way to better health. And that's actually a journey of change. That's leadership, even in that context. So what we're learning is actually recognizing how we help people individually, clinically, is very similar to how we help the health system also learn to get better. It's about working with many different people, finding resources in many different places, and recognizing that needs in complex areas of health, both individually for the patient in front of you and for the system as a whole, need to be woven together. You can't do things in silos, and that means you have to work with other people, and that's about relationships and change and leadership.
What was the most I'm not sure how to phrase this, the most impactful skill you gained from your leadership training, or what skill do you
Right.
use the most?
The most important thing leadership training taught me, above and beyond what I learned in medical school, was to listen even more than I thought I had to. To recognize that actually challenges, people who had different ideas were the most important people for me to listen to the most. That solutions weren't from getting groupthink from people who agreed with you, but solutions that survive in the real complex world were from listening and working with people who saw things differently, who saw different solutions, identified different needs, and helped you build a more robust solution at the end of the day.
Why does the healthcare system at large need physicians in leadership positions?
So the healthcare system at large needs physicians and healthcare leadership more now than ever before, because they can't lose track of why the health system exists. And that's actually take care of patients, something that physicians remember every single day. All the layers of bureaucracy, of work, of different organizations working together are all there for one single purpose, and that's to help patients lead better, fuller lives. We'll do that again.
Okay.
So what was the question again?
So that was, why does the healthcare system at large need physicians in leadership roles?
Today, more than ever, the health system needs physicians in leadership roles so that they don't forget that the most important reason that we all work is to make sure that patients get the care they need. And that can be challenging as our complexity of our system grows, as more organizations, institutions, agencies come into play, as more and more kinds of care are brought to bear to make sure patients are taken care of. That distance between the people making the decision and the people needing the care, the patients and their families, grows wider and wider. And physicians, because we work with patients every single day, are reminded of that and can't forget that fact. And that helps us make decisions in leadership positions that actually bring patient voices to the fore.
What is a good entry point for someone who is new to leadership? What's a good first step?
A good first step for family physicians, actually I'll say for any physician, right? So a good first step for physicians looking to explore leadership is actually in their clinical practice, organizing ways that the practice can better support their community and support each other and learn better ways of relating with other physicians and other interdisciplinary care providers are ways that actually you can expose yourself to the needs that are that need more leadership, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's try again.
No problem. So an entry point for someone who's new to leadership.
Right.
I like it within their practice.
Right.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
So a good first step.
A good first step for physicians looking to explore leadership is actually in their own practice, to figure out actually where the needs of their communities and how their practice can work better together, working with all the different interdisciplinary providers, with the administrative aspects, to actually organize a practice for better outcomes and performance and make it a learning enterprise for everybody there. And there are online courses, both from the OMA and the CMA, that actually are good access points to more detailed information and skills building.
Great. And the final thing I have here is how can physicians handle the additional stress that comes from taking on these
Yeah, don't do what I do.
Caffeinate.
Yes.
How can physicians handle the additional stress that comes from taking on additional roles and responsibilities?
So a good way for physicians to handle the extra stress that can come from the responsibilities and challenges of leadership roles is to remember why you're there. To recognize in the end all these efforts we make are actually to make sure our patients are taken care of. And then actually keeping time in clinical practice is a good reminder. It helps you remember what's important and actually not to get caught up in the challenges that can happen in meetings or offices.
Is there anything
Yeah.
else that you'd like to say? This is great.
Yeah, good enough?
Yeah.